Guiman. I'm originally from Romania. I moved to Seattle 2 years ago, almost. And I have like a really interesting journey from traditional filmmaking to some new transmedia and cross-media experiences. But I have to say that although you see all these complicated things, film is not dead. So in the festival I have a short documentary, traditional filmmaking. But Tim here asked me to present a little bit about transmedia and cross-media. So I got inspired by, I was in a film festival in Romania, in Sibiu, called Astra, and someone from Arte channel came there presenting an interactive documentary called Gaza Zero. And it totally blew my mind how they managed to reach new audiences and presenting such a sensitive content. So I said, okay, I have to follow that path, and I left Romania and I studied a master's in cross-media production in Estonia. It was the only available one in English at that time in Europe. And I made some really interesting connections and projects. And one of them is called The Mill. There was a TV series produced by Channel 4. It was a historical drama, and we were hired by them to develop the cross-media and transmedia strategy around it. And we did a pretty good job. My part was doing the alternate reality game that was basically a series of concerts that were happening in that space. And we explored the idea of freedom, like, are you really free? And we played a little bit with past and present. The action of the movie was happening like 100 years ago, so we had to use modern tools like LinkedIn, post jobs, and all these things to reach audience now from the present and drag them into this whole experience. More about that I can tell you after, just not to monopolize the discussion. Other interesting project I was involved in is called White Elk, and it was a site-on-location artistic project. We went into an island in Lithuania, and we created a fake character called this animal that was called White Elk, and the whole artistic experience was built around searching the elk and how basically we don't care anymore about the nature and how we miss the obvious things around us. And the project that's very dear to me is called Relativity of Objects, and it's connected with a transmedia museum, and with the idea that every object has a story, and the way we share that story, it's really important. One thing that I have to mention here is that in Europe, usually the museums are still old institutions, so they don't open so much towards the public. I noticed that here it's not the case. But we used video games, we used an online platform to reach the teenagers and to make them share their personal stories, because the museum shouldn't be just this elitist space with, I don't know, art and like for the elites, but also for all of us. And after graduation, I just inserted this here because transmedia and cross-media have this bad reputation of being just concepts and actually not being implemented, or you can't make money out of it. So actually we did work on a project with Baltic Group, that's the biggest coffee group from the Northern Europe, and we made a pretty nice internal communication on them based on the idea that every employee had a specific favorite recipe, had favorite food, and he had to come up with his own, I don't know, identity, background, cultural background, and contribute to the whole story of the company. And I will first talk about my current work. Now I'm doing a PhD in Finland, in Helsinki, and it's in virtual reality, montage and virtual reality, and my project is called Padrata. And it's a playground actually, made in a VR space. It's inspired by the Russian film director Sergei Eisenstein. He was called the father of montage. So I'm working on it. I really hope it will be a participatory project that will a little bit free the story and the form in which we are telling it, but more for that to come. And I have a video, but I'm not sure it's quite appropriate now, because somehow from transmedia to VR, it seems there is a gap, but there is not, because everything is about story building and the way we think not only the narrative line, but also what's around the narrative. And I think that helped me a lot, and this is what I learned in transmedia, and this is what I exported in the VR field. So yes, basically that's it. Let's try the video. If you're really bored, just let me know and I can stop. Do we have somebody?
And in some ways gone back to its origin. I was a painter at Central School of Art in London in 1975. I shifted almost immediately from being a painter to kind of using my art skills to do graphics and music video practices. And that evolved into music videos. Fairly quickly after that, I started working with directors and discovered that term, production design. So I production designed Lawnmower Man first, then The Crow, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, then Fight Club. And then came Minority Report, and the writer Scott Frank and I started on the same day. And without a script, we had to develop the world. And that really changed my practice completely. You know, Stephen's directive was to create future reality, not science fiction. We had to kind of gather our information, our data, our research from the real world, from laboratories and corporations and architects and urban planners. There are now over 100 patents that can be associated with Minority Report. Things like driverless cars, which was the transportation system that we had imagined that cars could move horizontally and vertically. We weren't being so clever, we were just listening well. And we were using that information that we were discovering to trigger the imagination. Imagining and portraying something that doesn't really yet exist in the world was a way to actually enable it to exist in the world. In every film that I did from then on, even if there was already a script, I was trying to break down a coherent, logical way to see how the world connects, to drive all of the kind of incremental details of that world. So world building is about understanding the world deeply enough in all of its aspects that stories spring almost effortlessly from that base world. My role has been kind of exemplified by coming here to USC, teaching this new design, new structural form of world building. It seemed like a perfect time to shift over to academia. One of the disciplines that we teach that we have to apply is you do a broad investigation of the world, so you get to know its components, you get to know its rules, and then you just dive vertically in and do these kind of core sample drill downs into the world.
So
the past 2 semesters I've been
I'm going to stop the video now, because the most important concept that I wanted you to see there was the world building idea and the fact that we try to do that in every medium that we explore. And in the end, I actually have a question for you all. What's next with transmedia? Because it was a buzzword like a couple of years ago, and now it looks like it's a little bit integrated in all media content. Or are we still talking about cross-media and transmedia projects and transmedia and cross-media production models? And how do you see this happening, evolving? Okay, so it's just all trouble.
Well, right now, most of our experience of the stuff can be very isolated, very low. Put on a headset, you do this stuff. So making it a more shared experience and more direct with other people in real time would be bold. It's kind of a challenge.
We already have more call space for our. Oh, sorry.
We already have like Altspace VR and all these apps that are evolving, but I guess they are not so independent anymore. They used to be. Yeah. Okay, that was it.